The NSLC literacy teaching materials is a medium for students to learn about the basic functions of reading and multilingual information. This primer was created by reviving the characteristics of King Sejong's spirit and Hangul structure. King Sejong made Korean characters so that the illiterate people could easily learn the writing. A wise man can break a letter by taking a full day, and a stupid person can read it in 10 days. According to UNESCO, the literacy rate in Korea is 99.8%. Developed countries are economically strong, with a high literacy rate, but less developed countries are illiterate. Therefore, each country has a policy of literacy. It is not a coincidence that the Republic of Korea, which is the poorest nation, has entered the ranks of the developed countries in the international society and is recognized by the world. There are many reasons for this, but our Hangul and the whole nation have a high education level. This is evidence that UNESCO has created the King Sejong Award system to encourage international literacy education. However, there is no actual literacy education system and medium development policy that can be applied to the learner who wants to be deficient, home and the country. Issue is difficult to achieve the effect. There are about 6,000 to 7,000 languages in the world, but only about 40 characters. Of these, 16 countries actually write characters, while the rest of the country borrows and translates characters to about 200 characters. Hangul has been recognized as the best character in the world. The King Sejong is a spiritual and pragmatic person, and the spiritual spirit is devoted to the interests of mankind. This is the rationale behind the need for focus on Hangul when building a new international literacy education system. In addition, I found that the character structure of Hangul is the most suitable character to train the cognitive learning strategy of human education. The New Start Learning Center (NSLC) program is a globalization strategy for Korean language culture. It is a Korean-based international literacy teaching method that enables multicultural families in foreign languages to learn and teach them how to teach. This program has been developed in an effective manner for the development of the educational environment and the developmental psychology of the humanities. Hangul character structure. Anyone can speak every word of the world in Hangul and learn a foreign language. 21C Multicultural Age NSLC International Literacy Education is based on the premise that traditional literacy methods cannot be achieved. After human being is invented, we have maintained and developed the culture of mankind by means of character-oriented education. However, this approach limits our ability to achieve our goals. It is time to explore new educational goals, contents and methods in the multicultural, multilingual and multimedia era. An alternative to international literacy training is to prepare for the four industrial eras. So, as a new international literacy education system, we have developed a project on the multilingual debilitation based on the spirit and theory of young Hangul. The characteristics of the NSLC International Literacy Education Program are as follows. First, it emphasizes the thought training with various Korean words. Second, it introduces brain-language learning training based on human primitive cognitive learning theory and repeatedly instructs mother language type 4-level language training. Fourth, multimedia devices adopting acupuncture information and communication technologies are used as media teachers. But the lecture classroom is operated with the principle that human language should be guided by human beings forever. The learning strategy is a pivotal role in the NSLC literacy education program. The way God teaches human language is very simple and clear. That is how the baby is born and learns the language. Can a foreign language be taught only by highly educated people? It's not like that. Anyone can teach a normal dad's mother's ability to speak. Sooner or later the mother will demonstrate the language to be studied. The child's practices, the mother's confirms the level, and if the baby fails to acquire the language, the mother will praise the baby once again through the learning process. The NSLC International Literacy Curriculum was designed to spiral out the basic 4-level language learning strategy: speaking and listening skills, reading and writing skills. This strategy should be used consistently in literacy education activities that develop writing and media literacy skills. Furthermore, it should be extended to the curriculum that develops the reading comprehension for learners. NSLC, the multilingual classroom, has a different approach to teaching. During the class time, the role of teacher and student become horizontal relation and develop learning activity. Like previous teachers, teacher-driven one-way language learning activities are avoided. Therefore, even if you do not have a good language proficiency, you can take full advantage of the media teacher in this classroom. In addition, even if you do not speak the target language at all, the teacher can learn it while teaching the language. In short, the NSLC multilingual classroom is a place where both teachers and students learn and teach language together. Therefore, when developing the NSLC literacy teaching materials, the following policies were reflected. First, we make textbooks that can learn multilingual easily, quickly and funly with Hangeul. Second, it makes it possible to learn with pictures, songs, paintings, and stories. Third, we choose the basic language of everyday life. Fourth, the arrangement of the textbook is edited in a lexicographical manner to deepen the learning effect and the result before and after learning. Fifth, anyone with this textbook will be able to speak, listen, read, write, and manipulate and guide writing and learning equipment. Sixth, the learner is able to do self-directed learning when she learns language. This is a feature of the textbook of NSLC literacy education. The teaching and learning strategy included in the multilingual elimination media textbook is to pass the following 6 steps. First, read letters to study. Second, to study pictures. Third, to study letters 4 times. To study writing. Fifth, to read and write. Sixth, to read and write letters. These 6 stages were developed so that they could be spelled out in orthodox conventions even when developing textbooks that enhance comprehension. Property for multicultural families. The following is the system of multilingual learning book. This is the cover page of the book. The book cover is an image that can reflect the culture of the area where the language is used. It is the background and arranges its contents and position so that the book can be accessed from the learner's standpoint. I did. This is the backside of the International Literacy Textbook Reader. You can read the multilingual author's profile and information, as well as textbook publishers and intellectual property. We present the contents of the Japanese language learning book, which guides the contents of the textbook. A collection of multilingual consonants presented in parallel with Hangeul. This is the second part of the first lesson, which is designed to enable you to carry out the 3rd and 4th level learning activities. It is important to note that the learners use the geometric visual perception and recognition system of the image, character, and word formation to make the visual and auditory brain language training possible. Manipulate intuitive, analytical, and integrative thinking operationally. And you can learn the language you are studying in Hangeul, and you can also learn the alphabet of Roman alphabet at the same time. This is a multilingual learning strategy for the NSLC International Literacy Teaching Manual. On this page, we are going to develop the language learning activities in the 5th stage. Soon after reading and writing the words learned in the previous step, reading activities will be developed to read songs, live paintings, and short stories in order to study sentence reading activities. Especially when singing and life paintings and stories were chosen as learning activities, the traditional language of the learning language was deeply embedded or globalized. This page has been deleted. In this video screen, the story material is not shown yet, but the story material is presented from the 6th story. At this stage, the notable learning strategy is to focus on self-directed learning skills. When a student recreates a word he or she has already learned and writes it in a blank space, the teacher should not tell the answer directly, and the learner must go to the place. When a student dictates a wrong answer, he or she will praise it when the student makes the mistake. This page is the one of the lesson learning ends, and the 6th language learning activity is developed. In this screen, the story data is not presented, but the story data is presented from the 6th unit. At this stage, the main learning strategy is self-directed learning ability. Teachers should not teach their own answers during the learning activities. The learners themselves have to find the places they have already learned and solve the problems. When a dictation is made, the learner's wrong answer is required to praise the student when he or she corrects it. 21C Multicultural Era. Hangul is not our own, but the writing of the world. Hangul is the vision and hope of human culture that opens and reveals the path of life and happiness. That's right. Hangul should be a leader in the world of literacy education. It is a must to be a teacher of King Sejong Institute in the world that transcends politics, economy, culture, religion, ideology. I cry with my heart. Hangul, stand up and shine. Be a world beacon of peace and humanity.